welcome to my little cottage. Most people stumble here by mistake, and I assume you are the same case as well, correct? Yes, people often wander through the forest thinking that they're going to find some witch, and they end up succeeding. And then they're surprised and terrified, but mostly confused. And let me tell you why they're confused, and I can tell that you're also confused as well. You see, most people paint witches as being these old crones with sagging skin and wrinkles and haggard complexions, with, you know, a huge, just knife-like nose with moles and birthmarks all over their face and the look of hell in their eyes, and long, well, I can't say anything about my fingers because they are quite long, but even longer fingers with, you know, moles on them and haggard knuckles and everything. And in reality, work can just range from being, you know, men, women, young, old, beautiful, completely ugly. We're just normal people. We just enjoy doing things that are different than the Puritans that you live with. So that is why we're often labeled witches. And the reason why people often depict us being so foul to look upon is because it makes it easier for the simple-minded Puritans to distinguish what is good and what is bad. Hence why their very own negative deity, Lucifer, is depicted as being so ugly in physical appearance figure. Because in reality, he's a beautiful creature. Even their text says so. But considering how it would be too difficult for simple-minded fools like them to distinguish what is evil and what is good when both things look beautiful, they're like, let's just make him look ugly. And somehow, let's make him look very similar to the gods of other pagans that do not believe in the gods that we believe in. So that way, we can start thinking that other cultures are also evil, and that way we can also persecute them, while in the same token thinking that we're also so persecuted. Am I right or am I wrong? I'm right. Now, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to cleanse you of their negative energy. I'm going to cleanse you of the draining force that they often exert upon others. Their constant nagging, their constant belittling, judging, threatening, and you're going to feel a lot better, much better afterwards. Is this okay with you? I often like asking for consent. It's very rare among Puritans. Is this okay with you? Excellent. I'm just going to be waving my hand over your face and just playing with your little energy as I continue to converse and relate to you. And then just plugging away any sort of stress that might be affecting the forehead right here, the third eye area. That way you can just kind of decongest from this energy and feel more refreshed afterwards. That is the whole point. Unless, of course, you want to join our little community. You're more than welcome to. Of course, there's a whole Salem witch trial going on, the tragedy of Salem, as they call it, but that's their own faults. And in fact, the little that they know, to be honest, yeah, let me just pluck away all of that negative energy that they caused you. You see, the little that they know, if they were more invested with their natural flora and fauna of the land rather than killing off Native Americans and claiming their land for their own, they would have noticed that the fungus that they've been eating in their rye is actually contaminated with LSD, or LSD properties, you know, trips. How do I know this? Because I'm a witch. God damn it. Literally. So, in reality, they're just having a chemical reaction that is causing visions and causing them to feel emotions that are different than their own common temperament. If it wasn't for that, they would not be experiencing these. Not to mention the fact that they're relying upon the judgments of children. Children. What sort of a society relies on the truth of a child to be priority? I mean, grown men taking the judgment, judges taking the judgment of young girls as truth? Idiots, fools. I mean, they call us barbarians, they call us backward, they call us workers of the devil, yet they're the ones taking advice from I mean, they are kind of, you know, the whole children of God thing, you know, they are as simple-minded as children, but Christ on a stick, is it causing so many lives? Like that one guy, Giles, his name, Giles, I can't quite recall his full name. What happened to that poor bastard? When we heard about that, we were like, And you call us savages? You call the Native American savages? It was quite ridiculous. Those Puritans really need to be another Roanoke case has to happen to them. Unfortunately, I feel like they've settled a little too well into their new land, so I don't think it's going to happen to them. Unfortunately. But in here, you are free to let go of all of that negative energy and just exude whatever frustrations you're feeling. Just let it out. Just cast off your sentiments, your feelings into potions and spells and incantations. So that way, you can just let it out of your system so it doesn't poison you and cramp you from the inside. And then, once that happens, you can start ingesting more and more positive feelings. At the moment, I'm just plucking the negativity away from you, or aiding you to pluck away that negativity. Aiding you, aiding you, aiding you, aiding you, aiding you, aiding you, aiding you. There are forest creatures in these forests. Large creatures, giants, elves, dwarves that wander around, their footsteps crashing all over around us. That's the only drawback of living in the forest, is that it can be quite noisy, but in the town itself, it can also be quite noisy as well, but with all the screaming, shrieking, hanging, burnings, drownings, and, screams of adultery and whatever other sins they consider to be sins that are worth death and punishment and banishment into land they don't even know of, which is basically death too, so positivity. Let me just pluck more and more out of you. Yes, that is the explanation of it. It is actually a trip. Nothing is actually happening. There are no witches there. If there were witches there, they would have left. Witches are smart that way. If they're being persecuted, we quietly leave. And if they're going to be hung, we cut the rope. Like, we're witches. We can do that. Or if we're going to be drowning, we just appear somewhere else where they can't see us and just run off as well. I mean, we could even enchant their minds into not even noticing us. We're witches. We're bloody witches. I mean, the women that they keep catching are not witches. If they were, they would not be caught. So it's frustrating. It's just frustrating. Pluck, 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 pluck. But yes, it is all because of a trip from a fungus. But I mean, they do rely upon the judgment of some man in the sky that's telling them to kill people on his behalf. So, schizophrenic, all of them, that's my judgment. And then they call us crazy, saying that we're living in the woods, creating potions and creating spells. And I'm like, excuse me, but at least we take showers, unlike you nasty bastards. And on top of that, at least we don't defer to some man in the sky who's clearly psychotic, if he exists, which, let's be honest here. And on top of that, to kill people in his name and then also say it's because he's loving and wants peace. I can sense that there's going to be a theme song that relates to this in the future. Like, if that theme song was currently present now, I can sense a name too. I'm getting a name. I'm registered. Lawrence David? Something along those lines. He made some theme song that if it was around, I would constantly play on my lute or my violin or whatever else I could find. Let's continue plucking your energy though, relaxing you from the negative aura that is going on with the Salem area at the moment. I dipped your face. Let me just adjust. I'm going to adjust your face. Perfect. There we go. So tell me, have they caught you? Have they accused you? Or have you been pressured into trying to out someone else? Oh, I already know full well the culture going on there. If someone is accused of witchcraft, they have to say, yes, I'm a witch, but I revoke in the name of God, and I revoke all power of Satan. Which, I mean, why aim so low? Both of them are so powerless. Like, they're just a bunch of drama queens, both God and the devil. Like, they're like, never mind, I'm not gonna go that far. Anyways, they're both so powerless. So, like, why want to achieve power from them? You could tell that they're not witches for that reason. But then they make them revoke that power, and then they make them accuse someone else of being a witch. And what logic does that make? Like, it makes, and that's in order to save their own soul too. They have to accuse someone else in order to not be hanged. I mean, that's the reason so many people are getting hanged, is because they don't want to put someone else through this same headache, especially since it'll require lying, and if that's against their text, then of course they don't want to actually damn their soul while also damning the soul. Confusing. Quakers, they make me quake with anger for how stupid, arrogant they are. Puritans all alike, and I don't see the fate of this country going any differently in the future. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be exactly like them, judging others. Let's see now. Yes. They even took the image of our god Pan, and by our god I mean some gods, it's not my god. Our god Pan, and they made him into the image of the devil. The horns, the tail, the pitchfork. Well, the pitchfork actually comes from Poseidon or Neptune. And they turned it into something evil, and it's just so, I mean, the pettiness of it all is just ridiculous. Anyways, you're in safe company now. No one is going to be persecuting you, no one's going to be judging you. You can feel free to do whatever you want as long as you don't harm anyone else. The 3x3 rule. And you can feel free to live as you wish. You can be as an animal and live off of the land and eat the grass if you so choose to, although you would be a little bit like, what are you doing? But, you know, feel free to do so if you want to. We're not going to be killing you over it. And you can also feel free to dress as you want and identify as you want and be as you want, do as you want. And no one's going to be killing you, banishing you, outcasting you, shaming you, embarrassing you over it. There we go. Let's just take this little bit right here. Let's circle it out. And let's take this bit out and circle it out. It is quite sad. Even family members are accusing other family members. Circle it out. And frankly, if it was me and I had a bunch of little girls accusing other people of being witches, actually confessing that they're going to lie, because I can predict that. I can predict the most adamant accuser of other witches, a small girl, I believe she's 11 or 12 years old. I can't quite remember her name. Her last name starts with a P. I can predict that she's going to confess to lying about all of these accusations that people are taking so seriously. And if that's the case, I would burn them all. Burn all those children. Because frankly, 20 people died because of them. And I would also burn the judges too. In fact, burn that entire town. They're all ridiculous and dangerous. We should all burn them. Like Caesar. There we go. But we like to behave. We like to live what we preach, which is basically be cool, you know, just relax, be chill, man, be chill. No matter who around you is acting totally unchill, we are going to be chill nonetheless. I am a witch. I can see into the future. I can see future colloquialisms, and I can see future terms, and I like using them, especially since it kind of mingles in my head. But let's take out this negativity and just put in a little bit of positivity. Just okay, yes, I must admit that I do use magic for not so positive results. Although in the end it is positive. Because you see, considering how they're so puritanical, I caused in all of the men erectile dysfunction, but I mean, they're not even using it. Like, if you're not going to use it, you're not going to use it. So yeah, they're very upset about that now, hence why they're deferring their answers to little girls in order to kill other people, because frankly they are stupid, confused, lost, and insecure. Just ask one of them. Hence why they're not having that many children. And the children that they do have die young. But that could also be because, you know, they're savages. They don't really know the properties of the herbs and flora and fauna around them, unlike the Native Americans that do know how to use such medicine. Because they've studied the nature around them and have lived organically, hence why when they came over, they killed them all because they're just so diseased, disgusting, dirty. It's just ridiculous. Nonetheless, you're safe here. If you wish to stay here, if you wish to return, you may return. If you rat us out, I will kill you, but, you know, just don't be a snitch. Snitches get stitches by witches. So, there we go. Going to just finish up the process a little bit, just absorbing that negative energy, pushing it away. And I'm just going to be pressing a little bit of positive energy your way. That way you feel much, much better about your current circumstances, and you can return feeling more refueled and refilled with some sense of stability. I hope you feel better. If you want to come back again, feel free to do so. Just make sure you're not being followed, because otherwise there's going to be a trail of dead bodies behind you. And I hope you have a lovely trip. I hope you wish to stay. If not, go back. And I hope you don't get hung by those lovely bastards.